no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Senior Citizen Podcast, and today we have the honor of chatting with Miss Christina Lopez, Lost Claws. Hey y'all! How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm glad that you're here. I'm super happy, I'm super excited. And I have to be honest, I got really excited when you kind of shared a little bit of your story with me over messaging, and I immediately thought, like, no, she needs to get out here and she needs to talk about herself and what she's doing and, you know, your past. And I want to start a little bit with, you know, who you're working in memory of, which is your boyfriend.
Yes, thank you. So I was dating this guy, Joey. His name is Joey White. He is very known in the music industry down here, even though he'd only been in Florida for about 2 years. When I first met him, he wasn't in a band, but it was his passion. He would play every night, and then he went to a show, he met some people, and he ended up joining a band called Let Me Bleed, and they were great. He did a lot of writing with them. They made a lot of great songs, and then he was sober, which was a new experience for me, being with somebody who was in recovery, and so I didn't quite know what to expect, but he was really upfront about it, very honest, and he was really good at prepping me as far as like living together and stuff like that. We dated about almost a year. It was on October 27th. I was downstairs. He was really sick. He had a really bad cold. There was something going around, and he went to take a shower, and that was the last time I saw him. I went to go check on him because after a while it seemed like he had been up there for a good minute, and unfortunately I found him in the bathroom, and he had overdosed. It was, I firmly believe, the first time he relapsed this time. So it was, you know, one of those one and done things, and he knew that would happen. That was something he always said. He said, if I relapse, I die. And he knew it. And so the nice thing, though, is that he was a really big positive influence on me, because he was one of those people that he was the same person outside of home as he was inside of home. There wasn't two different people. He was just this kind, loving, selfless person. He believed a big part of his recovery was because giving back to other people, so that, you know, helping other people really helped him stay sober. And so we actually met at a New Found Glory concert.
Aww.
And I went by myself. I had a few too many to drink.
We all do.
And the next morning, I went through my Instagram because, of course, I had all these new followers, and I'm like, oh. And then I see a message come through, and it was him, and he's like, hey, I just wanted to check on you, make sure you got home. Are you okay?
Aww.
And it was really sweet, and I ended up having another friend who was there, who I wasn't hanging out with, but just kind of saw it, and they're like, no, he was really nice. He was making sure you were fine. He wasn't being creepy. He was very hands-off-ish, made sure that you knew that there was, you know, he had his boundaries, and that, you know, he wasn't crossing any lines or anything. And we talked on the internet for a while, and about 3 months later, I kind of kidnapped him for our first date.
Aww.
I said, hey, do you, by chance, want to go to a concert in Orlando with me and go see The Used? And he's like, yeah,
Aww.
sure. And we went, and we were inseparable ever since. And one of the things that we really connected on, it was music. I loved going to shows. Big mainstream shows was kind of my only thing. I wasn't really into the local scene. I just didn't know. I didn't have anybody who brought me in.
Right.
And he started taking me to some local shows, and even some up in Orlando. When we'd go to, like, bigger shows up there, we'd also catch, like, a local
small show. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And it was really cool, and it was really great to just see how everybody was, like, connected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he knew this person knew that person, and they were kind of all just one big family, even though they didn't really hang out. It was just that kind of music community.
Yeah.
And he explained to me that something he always really wanted to do was start his own booking company. He said making the music is his passion. He said, but, you know, he really, as far as a career, he really wanted to do something to bring the community together more.
Right.
and just bring more of the local scene out, kind of expose some of the local talent, make sure that they get the credit they deserve. And so he kind of walked me through it a little bit. It sounded like gibberish to me at the time.
Yeah.
But then after he passed, I decided, I'm going to continue on with what we talked about. And so this year I threw my first show and
Woo!
have another one coming up. First one was a huge success.
I saw that, over 300 people.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It was amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you. And it's funny, I was sitting there the day before. The bassist in his band helped me with the show. We kind of did it together because we both really wanted to do something. He had some connections. He had a little more knowledge in the industry. And we were sitting there the day before, and we said, if we just get 50 people to show up, that's all we really need. Then we'll break even, we'll have a great time, and it'll be great. And we had 50 people within the first 10 minutes, and
So awesome.
I was blown away. It was absolute chaos. One of the best pits I've seen in a long time, which was great. And it's great. So that really was kind of my stepping stone to decide, okay, I'm going to take this a little further and keep going.
Right.
I started this whole Lost Claws with nails. Hence the
It sounds like a
claws.
band, by the way. Like, you first see, like, the Instagram handle and all the stuff, and you're like, oh, I wonder what this sounds like. And you open it, you're like, no, it's nails. Like, that's so great. Like, you're very artistic.
Thank you. But yeah, I started by painting his nails. He was my best not student, but my best customer, I guess.
Right.
I would say, because he every night he'd be like, do whatever you want. Build them out, do acrylics, I'll whatever you need. And I would do his nails, and we'd do little flames and words and stuff. And then
That's just a shine. If he wanted to, he would.
yeah, exactly. And so then he it was so cute because he was my biggest supporter. So I always thought I drove him crazy because I would stay up all night, like, hand painting these crazy designs. And he'd be like, are you good? I'm going to go to bed. And I'm like, I should be done soon. And then he's getting up for work, and I'm going to bed.
Oh.
And it was so cute, though. Every time I'd go to sleep before he left and after he went to bed, in the morning when he'd leave for work, I could feel him come over to the bed, and he'd grab my hand, and he'd look at my nails and inspect them while I'm sleeping. And then he'd wake me up, and he'd go, babe, these are so fire.
Aw.
Because you did so great. So it was always great. He really pushed me to push on the nails.
Right.
And then once he passed, I'm like, you know what? Lost Claws can be anything. So I'm going to kind of just make it all about the music community. I love doing, like, punk rock nails. I love doing band nails. So that's kind of where it all started. And so I don't know where it's going, but it's going
What
somewhere.
matters is that it's going.
Yeah.
And I love this conversation, and I love hearing you talk, because I can still tell that these feelings are still very raw. Like, you're having trouble talking about it, and I really admire that you do, because
Thanks.
that's such an example for maybe anyone out there who's probably lost a partner in an unexpected way, and they're hurting just the same way you are,
Yeah.
and they can relate to you.
Absolutely. I've actually, it was nice when he passed. I had a lot of people reach out to me, and of course, there's always the people who don't know what to say, so they end up saying the wrong thing. But there was a lot of people that reached out and just said, hey, I lost my partner at this time. I know what I'm not going to say I know what it's like, but I know kind of what you're going through with the emotions and talking to people. And I had a lot of people that were like, if you just want to vent, share stories, just reach out to me. So from time to time, I'd send them a story and be like, I just thought of this one thing. It just reminded me of him. I just had to say it. And so I'd tell him a story. And it's nice because it kind of keeps his spirit alive.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
keep his memory alive, and I mean, I'd probably be the person to say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and usually that's my go-to. Like, hey, let's vent, let's talk, and just getting all those feelings out there, and it's beautiful what you're doing, and I'm so glad you're booking shows, and they're coming out amazing, and you know,
Yes.
we have another one coming up soon.
I
you're saying?
do. So I have another one coming up soon. I'm looking at booking it at the same venue. We had a little couple issues last time, but it's things that I had learned. It's kind of
What's
going
the
through those
secrets
motions.
to being a booking person? Like, what's the magic recipe there?
You just have to act like you know what you're doing.
Okay.
If it seems to other people like you know what you're doing, then that's fine. Because let me tell you, I have no idea what I'm doing. But the
Imposter
bands,
syndrome who?
yeah, exactly. The bands are super supportive. They're super nice. What was great is with the last show, it was kind of a show to honor Joey. And the bands knew that, and they knew it was kind of my first one stepping into it. It was really nice for them to be able to hop onto it in the first place, because somebody nobody knows who never threw a show.
Yeah.
You know, it's a risky move, but it worked out really great, and the support from those bands were awesome, because there was a lot of things that I didn't have to go through the quirks because they just took care of it. Like the scheduling, you know, getting there, doing sound check, all those things. You know, the owner of the venue didn't show up until like an hour before they were supposed to play. They only got like half a sound check done. Not even all the bands got to do it. And then there was, you know, their mic was going out during the show and stuff. So little things like that, but they all powered through it like
whatever.
Like friends. Yeah, they all just, you could see them helping each other out. So there wasn't any competition. It was all just kind of one big family. And I think that's the big key, is just being personable with these people and, you know, realizing, it took me a long time to realize these musicians are real people too. I look at them like celebrities, you know, I'm a little fangirl over here. So talking to the bands and stuff at first was really scary.
And it's the coolest thing when you can be like, oh, let me just call up my friend from whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's nice. One of the bands, Royal Hearts, they're an awesome band, and they, me and my sister were actually going to go on tour to follow them. They're going on like a mini tour next month. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to go up the state of Florida and back down with them, which we're really excited about.
Have you ever been like on a tour before?
No.
Okay.
No.
So now you get to learn through that experience.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of see how different venues do different things. Because right now I just know the one.
Right.
So it'll be really cool to kind of get my feet wet in just some other experiences and other cities too. To see like what their scene is like in their community, because ours is huge down here, way bigger than I thought it was.
And I think that's something that's present in all these conversations, that everybody's like, it's not dead, it's still here.
Yeah.
The scene is still alive.
Yep.
And it's something we're very proud of. And I'm happy to be, you know, starting this podcast too, and having such amazing people come on and share their stories and their point of views. And something that I do take a lot of pride in is that I've done a bit of market research, and I realized that there's no girl-hosted podcast touching these subjects, touching like the scene and emo subjects and stuff. How do you feel like you're kind of a lone female in some of these instances too?
Sometimes, definitely sometimes.
I just said female, a girl.
No, but it is. Yeah, it is. It's definitely a male-dominated industry all around. Whether like yourself doing podcasts and interviewing or booking shows, it's definitely a male-dominated industry, so it's intimidating. Sometimes I feel like maybe they see right through me faking my way through, and they're like, oh, no, she's just a silly girl. But what's been really nice is I have had a lot of support from my sister, who's really kind of been behind the scenes in Lost Claws. She goes to all the shows, and she's been a big supporter of it. And ironically, too, a lot of the bands and the guys, they make me feel like they think they know what I'm doing. And so it helps, because we're all kind of like professionals. So I haven't, really the only thing I've gotten hit with as far as like on the negative side of the female aspect is just there's been a lot of creeps around, but I think that happens anywhere you go.
Right.
I think that men really enjoy seeing women in this industry.
Right.
And sometimes it's kind of like a shiny object. And then you pull the brains out, start talking real stuff, and they're like, oh.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I think
your stuff.
It's very intimidating. I think that's like the easiest way to put it. Like you're scared of going to a show alone maybe, or you're scared of starting something like this, or booking bands, and you're walking in there, it's like, all right, yeah, I got my fancy ass Lost Claws over here, but I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. And so that's the cool thing, is that it's, once people see a little bit of who you are, they really take it all in. And so it's really cool, because it's been very welcoming. Sometimes I feel like a lot of that is just because of the tragedy I went through, that sometimes people are just a little more empathetic
Nicer,
towards it.
yeah.
But I also have met a lot of people that didn't know that backstory. And even at the show that we threw, very few people actually knew that it was like a show in honor for Joey. We didn't advertise it like that because we weren't sure if his band would want to do something. We wasn't sure, you know. It's a few months down the road. We didn't want people to think that it might have also been like a celebration of life type.
Right.
You know, we didn't want people to think that there'd be any type of dark or damping feelings at the show. So we didn't advertise it. We kind of all knew for ourselves what it was for, which made it really cool.
Right.
But there was a lot of people there that had no idea who I was, who Joey was. They thought Lost Claws was another band.
It's advertised as such.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cool being able to, for that show, I had all the band's logos on each of my nails, and I was working the door. So it was the best promotion because everybody was like, oh my goodness, I love your nails, as I'm putting on their wristbands. And I'm like, I'm Lost Claws. And they're like, oh, I had no idea.
Right. They basically sell themselves like that.
Yeah, it was so cool. And so that's one of the big things I try to do is like, kind of promote my nails out there. I did some like press-on stuff for a little while, but I really like doing the custom ones better because it's very unique. It's very different. And I just figured out a really cool way to print stuff and put them on nails, which makes my life so much easier and saves me a lot of time too. So that's something I'm going to be doing more of. And I also am working on an online store where I'm selling
I love all these like
t-shirts
exclusives here that we have.
Yes. So you're going to see within the next couple weeks, it'll go live. And it's going to run off a dropship platform just so that way, since I'm just starting out, I don't want to exhaust all my resources to print out shirts and then try to recoup money. So I'll have a few that I'll pop up at shows. I'll have a little merch stand at shows with just a couple Lost Claws things. But on the website, you'll be able to find like some really cool artwork. And the coolest thing about all the shirts on the website is they all have a piece of Joey. So all the shirts either have a lyric from a song he wrote, poem he wrote, something like that. But you would never know because they're kind of just all metal lyrics, like just emo.
They probably screamed it somewhere and you can't even hear it in the song. But
Exactly. But they've all got a little piece of something he wrote, just so that way you could kind of carry the legacy and have something special for him too.
You have all these creative projects on their way. Is this like the only way that you've coped with the grief? How you've like
pretty much. So after he died, it was his mom. He really just has his mom, his brother, and his sister, and they all live out of state. And so he, when he passed, we did a celebration of life for him down here, and so I planned that for him. And then his mom had another celebration of life up in Ohio. So, but that was about 3 weeks after. So we did the one here pretty much right away that same weekend. Then the next month, basically, I was in Ohio doing it all over again. So there wasn't really a lot of closure with anything. And I didn't have time to really process. And then right after I came back from Ohio, I found out that I got selected to have a booth for Lost Claws at Emo Night.
Where I met you. Cool.
Exactly. And I wanted to cancel so bad. I almost did.
Oh, no.
And then I'm like, you know what? No. Joey pushed that whole booth there. That was all him. He sent me the Instagram post from the brewery and was like, I think you should do this.
Yeah.
We're going to go. Him and Tanner, his best friend, who's my now roommate, he's like, we're going to go, but like, you should try to have a booth. Do your nails.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not good enough for that. I was like, I'll never get picked. And then I got called and I was like, oh, okay.
No, yeah,
I'll
you
be
gotta
there.
own it.
And so then I had that event, and then right after that was when we announced the show in February, on February 4th at O'Malley's. And so ever since then, I've just kind of been promoting. Me and Nelson, the bassist, we went out to a lot of the local shows, big and small, we were the ones putting flyers on cars, handing them out outside the venue. We did a very little online marketing, like advertising.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of just hitting the pavement of places that we go, that we know.
And that's what gets stuff done at the end of the day.
Exactly, because it really paid off. There was a lot of people that came that didn't even know any of the bands. And they're like, we just know this location. We know O'Malley's. We know that they throw great shows, and we know that, based off the flyer, it just looked fun.
Basically.
I'm like, that's great.
No, I saw it and I was like, I want to go. And then I'm like, I'm out of town. No. But I'm sure there'll be a next one and another one after that. So I was like, you know what?
Absolutely.
Not the end of the world. I'll be there.
The next one's going to be really cool because it's going to be a little less metalcore and a little more punk, alternative,
Super exciting.
emo. It's going to be very nostalgic, hearing some of the bands play, because a lot of them will be playing songs that we all know really well.
Okay.
So I'm super excited. I don't want to say who any of the bands are yet, just because I'm still adding a few more people to the lineup.
Right.
But we do have a couple secured, so really excited for it.
I'm excited for you. And then just one last intriguing thought on the whole Joey subject. And I mean, if you're not comfortable answering it, that's totally on you. But and also everybody has like different viewpoints on what a soulmate is. But do you think he was your soulmate?
I do. It's interesting. Before him, I was single for like 3 years, and I thought I was going to stay that way forever. And when I met him, I even did everything I could to push him away.
Oh.
And he just wouldn't. He wouldn't go anywhere. And I was like, okay, I don't hate this. And the fact that we really connected on the music part, we both had the same favorite band, and we both were able to sit there, and there was never a boring moment. It was always him introducing me to new music and me showing him some older stuff that I love. And we did a lot of road trips. We went out to Texas and saw my favorite band out there, and The Used again. And so
What's your favorite band now that we...
So my favorite band, all-time favorite band, would be Blink-182.
Okay.
I love Blink. Everybody loves Blink. But after, aside of Blink, my favorite band to especially see live is Census Fail.
Okay.
I love Census Fail. I'm one of those like complete fangirls. I get the VIP package. I meet them every time. I do like their like listening parties online. I'm like, I listen to their podcasts. So I love those guys. They're definitely my favorite. But it was nice because since me and Joey had so much in common, we never really had a real argument. Like, we had disagreements, but he was just so down to earth that, we'd be able to talk about it. Neither of us would get upset. We'd see each other's point of view. So it was really nice because we had this great dynamic that just made it so that everything kind of fit into place.
Yeah.
And, growing up, I was never that type of girl who had a dream wedding and thought about what that would be like and what their wedding dress is like. And it's interesting because when I was with him, that's when I was like, oh, I can have a dream wedding. There can be a mosh pit for first dance. Why not?
Exactly.
And
I already see the black wedding dress
the
and
black
everything.
and red
Yeah,
dress. And yep, absolutely. And so that was something that we talked about, is how when when we got married, we'd have this amazing, just kick-ass wedding that like everybody just
That's
had
what it's
a
for.
great time at, and just thrash full of crowd surfing and dancing and moshing and just heavy music and just exactly who we were. So that was the first time I'd ever been with somebody that I could see a future that fit me.
Right.
That was a little more custom to who I am, rather than the traditional future of husband, kids, dream elaborate wedding. But it was really cool, having those talks with him, because now in the future, obviously I'm not anywhere close to ready now, but in the future, when I meet somebody else, I have these high standards now. So I feel sorry for whoever that person is, because I have these incredibly high standards. And I think that him teaching me how I should be treated was something that will stick with me forever. Because that was, other than just the general care he gave me, like, that was the best thing about him, is the respect he had. It was unmatched. I've never seen it before.
It's so sad because that's also something that's like bare minimum. But
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
Like, it's just very hard to find a person who respects what you like and what you like to do and, look forward. And as cliche as it sounds, like, it's beautiful that you even got to spend that amount of time with him, because there's some people who never get to experience it in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. My mom's been married 3 times. My sister's been married twice. I love them both to death. But, it's definitely shown me, just to be a little more careful and make sure that when I'm all in, that I'm really all in. Mm-hmm. And I had never second guessed it with him, which was great. It just felt comfortable. He moved in and he brought his best friend with him. His name's Tanner. They were living together in a sober house, and so they both moved in when they hit their 1-year mark for being sober. And Tanner's 22, so it was a big difference. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I lived alone for like 4 years at that point. I'm like, I want you to move in, but I'm freaking out. And it was great because they moved in, and it was like seeing their dynamic was amazing too, because then it showed me what friends are like too. Yeah. Just having that, being able to go back and forth and have a good time, and they would chase each other around the house and wrestle like little kids. And it was just great because it brought a lot of joy and purpose kind of into my household and life that I didn't have before.
Right.
Because I was kind of always that, like, thick-skinned, cold-hearted, like, no, it's just me, and it's me and my career, and I have to do what I need to do, and that's all that matters. And he really taught me that it's not about that.
Life's not that serious.
No. In the end, all that matters is how everybody thought you were. You like the way you impacted others.
Yeah.
And he really proved that. I mean, even at his celebration we had down here in Florida, there was like 60 people who showed up. And I don't know if I could have 6 people show up. I started counting my people. I'm like,
no, it's like one of those when the joke that's like, oh, when they're carrying the casket. It's
yeah.
Like, my best friend's going to be dragging it by themselves.
Kicking me down the stairs. Just my sister, really. She'll just be rolling me down. But, it was just an outpour of love for him. And it was very cool to see, because like I mentioned, he'd only been here 2 years. I have been in Florida for 12, and I don't have that many friends. And he really taught me to just kind of be more outgoing, because I was very closed off. And he is somebody he had lime green hair. He would wear the craziest clothes, mismatched, pink camo pants, and like just crazy stuff. But he was 100% unapologetically authentic. So it was very cool because I was able to kind of get this fear out of my mind of like, what are people going to think of me? He really showed me it doesn't matter. In the end, nobody cares about any of that stuff. You just be you, and that's what people like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you can, talk about everything that's happened. There's clearly very much a Christina before Joey and a Christina after Joey, and that through you talking about how he was and keeping his memory alive, you're also teaching some people that, hey, it's okay to just be you and move on. And if you have imposter syndrome, just get on with it. It's okay. Half of us don't know what we're doing anyways.
Exactly. We're all just faking it through.
Exactly. And that's what I really want people to take away from this episode. But I do give the opportunity for a shameless plug at the end that I know you might want to promote a couple of things, last reminders for people to take with them.
So I do want to just have people keep an eye out on my Instagram page, which is Lost Claws FL for Florida, because within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be announcing the next show, which is going to be in the end of April. It's going to be on April 22nd. So everybody keep your calendars clear. It's a Saturday. It will be local, probably at O'Malley's most likely. And it's going to be some heavy hitters that are local artists that have kind of been in the game for a little while. And it's definitely going to bring out a lot of year-old nostalgic feelings. So if you love emo, if you love punk, if you love alternative, if you love metal, you're going to love this show. And then also on my Instagram, you'll see within the next couple weeks my website go live with some new merch. So you guys are more than welcome to do that. One of the biggest reasons I did it on a drop shipping platform is so that anybody who's a little big and tall can get those shirts.
course.
Because Joey was a big and tall dude. He was a 3X in shirts. And our thing when we go to shows is we'd get matching concert gear. And a lot of times they'd never have his size. Just because there's not a lot, it doesn't sell a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought if I could do it this way, at least there's an opportunity that everybody could get a shirt if they wanted, or a hat, or whatever is on there. And then, yeah, that's really it right now.
I love it. We will be promoting all of that on our Senior Citizen Podcast socials as well. And, anytime that you want to come back, you're welcome to promote whatever, and we'll definitely be in contact. And thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you so much. I love this, and I love everything that you're doing. This is amazing.
Catch you guys next time.
Bye.